Welcome to Gatecrashers. We're here to bring you a very special, jam-packed episode for the Season 6 premiere of The Expanse on Prime Video. We have 3 different interviews today hosted by Kyle Matz from our team. This is actually their first interview, and I want to commend them on an incredible listen. First up, we have the executive producers, and then our 2 other segments are with some of the actors of the show. So first up, executive producers Ty Franck, Daniel Abraham, and Naren Shankar.
Hi.
Hello.
My name is Kyle. I'm with Gatecrashers. Okay. Could you share some perspective on your decision to cast Sandrani as non-binary? Was it Joe Vanicola being the right actor for the right role, or was there a deeper decision behind that?
The character Sandrani in the books is only referred to with they, them.
Nope, that's not true. That's Good Fortune.
Oh, it's Good Fortune. No, seriously. Yeah. So we combined 2 characters. A character named Good Fortune, a character named Sandrani in the book, from the books. And one of those 2 characters is only referred to with they, them pronouns. And so when we were combining the characters, we were like, let's keep that aspect of the character when we cast.
Yeah.
I never noticed that. Yeah. Okay. Well, along those same lines, The Expanse has a long history of centering queer characters and relationships. Could you speak to that ethos a little bit about some of those thought processes?
Sure. There are a bunch of queer people. There are a bunch of queer people now. There will be a bunch of queer people in the future.
Right.
Yeah. As a world building decision at the beginning of this, we wanted the future to have everybody who is here now make it into the future, and that's that's how you do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's great to hear.
Yeah. It's
Yeah, I apologize. How did you approach the development of season 6, knowing it would be the final season? Was there anything you wanted to put a specific point on, particular,
Not screw up the ending?
not screw up the ending is good.
Yeah, we wanted to stick the landing. I mean, it's a tight framework to tell the story in. I mean, we had certain plot elements and storylines from the beginning of book 6 that we'd already done in season 5, so that made the process a little bit easier, mostly with Drummer's character. But yeah, it was, we wanted to make sure that we got to a satisfying ending that really, that really paid off what we set up in episode 1 of the first season in that the title crawl, right?
Yeah.
That's what we were paying off, and hopefully we did it.
And it sounded like you were maybe asking if there was a philosophical point we were trying. Is that? Did I read that question correctly?
No, okay. More just adaptation.
I got you.
The material, okay. Right. Speaking of philosophy, though. The Expanse does have a long-running motif of humanism against the unknown. I know I've listened to some of your conversations about how religion and spirituality play into that, but I was wondering if you could speak to that a little bit. There are several characters throughout the series that are centered on religion and their worldview playing into the universe.
Neither Daniel nor I are religious, but
right.
He's talking about those people, people exist and they should exist in the future. Mm-hmm. Religious people exist and they should exist in the future. And I think religion is one of the many ways that humans try to make sense of the universe and their place in it, and why do any of the things that we're doing. And I think getting rid of that does a disservice to the size of the world. Mm-hmm. I think not including people is more of a political choice than including people.
Yeah.
And when you make a decision not to be inclusive, when you make a decision not to be
not to have those people,
not to have diversity of not only diversity in humans, but in the philosophies that humans have. When you make a choice not to include that, that's a more powerful political statement than including it is, I think.
So
Okay.
And powerful political statement in a bad way, in a negative
bad
way.
way.
Yeah.
Okay. In Dan and Ty's introduction to the 10th anniversary edition of Leviathan Waits, you talked about the Expanse existing as part of a conversation, and how 40, 50 years from now, somebody could say, well, James S.A. Corey has been a big influence on me and my writing. I was just wondering, I mean, obviously, you would want the show to have that same influence, but I was just wondering how that notion translates to your work on the show and the legacy that the show could have going forward.
Ty always says legacy is not for us. Legacy is for the folks who come after us. We don't get to pick that. Our job is to do the best job we can, and then everybody else's job is to do whatever they do with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, in a large part, legacy is the fans that exist now, but it's also fans that don't even exist yet. Mm-hmm. It's people who find it 10 years from now or 20 years from now or 40 years from now and go, oh, look at this interesting thing that existed back then. They get to decide if there's a legacy. We don't.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your answers. It's been wonderful talking to you. I'm a huge fan.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, it's me again. Now into part 2 with actors Cara Gee, who plays Camina Drummer, and Keon Alexander, who plays Marco Inaros.
How are you doing, Cara Gee?
Good. What you reading there?
Leviathan Falls.
Oh,
Great story.
Is it any good?
I would hope so. About halfway through. All right. You both play incredibly intense characters, but from everything I've seen and heard, you both seem like genuine and kind-hearted. Could you talk about inhabiting Marco and Drummer a little bit?
I would like to talk about this idea that Keon is genuinely kind-hearted. I don't know about that. Flag on the play.
Also, who's buying this sweetness, people? Who's buying this?
Oh my goodness. No, I mean, it's such a gift to be able to actually completely transform. I feel like so often we kind of want actors to be the characters that they're playing. You know, we see people playing themselves all the time. And,
right.
You know, that's like fun too. But it's a rare treat to be able to like get lost in a dialect, in this extreme makeup, neck tattoo, in this epic other world. It's a joy.
Yeah.
And there's something, especially with Marco, there's something very operatic about it. There's something larger than life. There's something extreme and sort of like unrestrained about it that is kind of like cathartic and weirdly fun to fall into, you know, like he doesn't really play it safe in anything. Like he keeps using the word audacious. You must be audacious. That's really close to the thing he's got. Like if he's got something that we can learn from him, that's maybe one of them is that the like willingness to like thrust yourself wholeheartedly towards whatever your vision is. And yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
But we're nice.
Not to cut you off here. You mentioned like this vision that he has and the audaciousness, the audacity. Do you think, I've been trying to figure this out throughout my rereads of The Expanse and throughout, rewatching the show. Do you think Marco thinks he's doing the right thing? Do you think like he sees how manipulative he is, or it's like a little bit of both in there? How do you see that?
I think he 100% believes that he is doing the right thing. I believe that he, from a very young age, has seen how the architecture of power works. And the primary way that it controls is through psychology. And having the bandwidth and the intelligence and the capacity to be aware of that from a very young age, he used that in order to turn himself into not only the perfect disciple of that colonial construct, but its perfect enemy. And so everything he's had to do along the way is using his ability to metamorphosize. And so what he's doing, which one might call manipulation, is to him having the ability to, with presence, clock the psychology and the archetype of the person in front of you and act accordingly. Somebody else might call that manipulation, but to him it's metamorphosis according to the needs of the situation in front of him.
Okay. That's fascinating. Thank you very much. Cara, how do you think Drummer plays against that ideology? How do you think she sees herself in the universe? I mean, she's this, figure of like queer love for the Belters, I think. And as a queer person myself, it's fascinating to see play out. I absolutely adore it. But I mean, how do you think she plays against that?
I think that as much as Marco is a shapeshifter, Drummer is the exact polar opposite. I think that she cannot compromise herself. She is like physically unable to compromise herself. And that's why she has to keep leaving these situations where she's, rising through the ranks and gets to a position and can't do that, can't compromise that, won't have that blood on her hands. So yeah, I think that's where she stands. It's just really I think actually it's really interesting how exactly opposite they are in that way. And I think that sort of that purity almost of her makes her an ideal, though reluctant leader.
Okay.
Someone who shouldn't be. So the person who doesn't want to be the leader is the person who probably should be, right?
Yeah, right. Well, thank you both so much. It's been wonderful talking to you. I could talk to you guys for hours.
Totally.
But have a great day. Thank you very much for answering my questions.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Take care.
One more time from me as we head into our final interview with Wes Chatham, who plays Amos Burton, and Nardine Nicole, who plays Clarissa Mao. Hope you enjoy.
My first question, I think part of the best part of The Expanse is like the clear passion that you all, the cast and crew, all have for creating, a love letter to the series. What was it like working on season 6, knowing that it would be the last season?
Well, for me, I haven't really processed it yet. I mean, this is this has been a routine. We started season 1. We've been doing this, going up there and shooting this show for almost 8 years now. And so I knew that it was the last season. I knew it was the last script. I knew all these milestone moments, but I haven't really on an emotional level processed it yet. I still feel like it's still feeling like it's part of the routine, but it's so maybe one day I'll just have a breakdown but I haven't really processed it yet.
You and me both.
Yeah. Are you in Cincinnati?
I am, yeah.
Oh, okay. You a big Reds fan?
Yeah. Not really. Just live in Cincinnati,
Oh, okay. I hear you.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nadine, Clarissa is a relative newcomer to the crew of the Rocinante, even though you have been on the show for, several years. How do you think Clarissa fits into that family? And how do you think, what do you think drives her in those interactions?
Well, luckily, the Rossi crew are just really phenomenal human beings, and Holden leading them. I mean, who in their right mind would let anyone that's tried to kill them onto their ship with them in this tiny little quarters, and they're fighting for survival and war. So I think Clarissa is just really grateful that she's had this miracle of a second chance with someone who's just, taken her and pulled her up from her, what do they say, britches, bootstraps, and given her the second chance at, protecting her, and she trusts him. So she has a chance at having possibly a tribe in the future, people to care for, vice versa. So that's kind of where we're starting in this season. She has to work hard to regain their trust. So we'll see how that goes. There'll probably be some obstacles and challenges there.
Okay. Wes, I was listening to Ty and That Guy, and there was a conversation that you had with Ty where he was saying that Amos should never have this come to God moment, where he should never look at himself and think, what have I done? But I don't think that means that Amos hasn't developed over the past, 6-8 years, however long. Where do you think Amos stands in season 6 with everything behind him since the Canterbury? How do you think he's changed? Do you think he's changed?
I do think he's changed, but I think, one of what Ty's point was, and I think I agree with him, is that level of introspection, Amos is not capable of that, at this point. And so I think,
interesting.
Some of the things that, but it is awakening. It is an awakening. And there is a scene that he has with Peaches, and she says to him, for somebody that, claims to not be a hero, you still find yourself being the hero in a lot of situations. Right. And I think ultimately the path to Amos's awakening, he was badly traumatized as a kid. He saw the dark side of humanity, but Lydia was a guiding light for him. And then it was Dominique, and it was Naomi, then the Rossi crew, and particularly Holden. And that has become a family and a structure, and that kind of love and support has allowed him to start to awaken emotionally again. So then he could be the support structure for her, and he could be the mentor for her. And that has been a completion to the arc, is that because when she says that you still are a hero a lot, it's because he's motivated to protect the people around him. And that usually puts you in a better, and usually makes you a better person. And so when she says that he has the first thought for the first time of like, you can see it. He's like, holy shit, I am doing a lot of shit for, know. So he has that moment.
Yeah, I love Amos as this protector of the innocent angle. It's beautiful the way it plays out over the course of the whole story.
Oh, that's great.
Well, thank you both for talking to me. I'm a huge fan. Love both of your work. It's wonderful to be able to sit down with you.
Being a fan, I'm just curious. What did you think of the finale?
Oh, incredible. I don't want to go, too deep into spoilers, just, for whoever reads this later. But there's a specific moment in episode 4 with you and Steven Strait. Just fucking incredible, Wes. The tension in that scene wraps up the emotional subplot of the last, 6 years. It's just amazing. Again, thank you so much for sitting down with me. It's been a wonderful time.
Thank you for your passion and support. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, have a great night.
Thank you.